To start my TED Talk off, I would like to begin with a short video called Look Up. It summarizes one of the major problems our generation currently faces.
I have 422 friends, yet I'm lonely. I speak to all of them every day, yet none of them really know me. The problem I have sits in the spaces between looking into their eyes or at a name on a screen. I took a step back and opened my eyes. I looked around and realised that this media we call social is anything but when we open our computers and it's our doors we shut. All this technology we have, it's just an illusion. Community, companionship, a sense of inclusion. Yet when you step away from this device of delusion, you awaken to see a world of confusion. A world where we're slaves to the technology we mastered, where information gets sold by some rich, greedy bastard. A world of self-interest, self-image, self-promotion, where we all share our best bits but leave out the emotion. We're at our most happy with an experience we share, but is it the same if no one is there? Be there for your friends and they'll be there too, but no one will be if a group message will do. We edit and exaggerate, crave adulation. We pretend not to notice the social isolation. We put our words into order until our lives are glistening. We don't even know if anyone is listening. Being alone isn't the problem. Let me just emphasise, if you read a book, paint a picture, or do some exercise, you're being productive and present, not reserved and recluse. You're being awake and attentive and putting your time to good use. So when you're in public and you start to feel alone, put your hands behind your head, step away from the phone. You don't need to stare at your menu or at your contact list. Just talk to one another. Learn to coexist. I can't stand to hear the silence of a busy commuter train where no one wants to talk through the fear of looking insane. We're becoming unsocial. It no longer satisfies to engage with one another and look into someone's eyes. We're surrounded by children who, since they were born, have watched us living like robots and think it's the norm. It's not very likely you'll make world's greatest dad if you can't entertain a child without using an iPad. When I was a child, I'd never be home. Be out with my friends on our bikes, we would roam. I'd wear holes in my trainers and graze up my knees. We'd build our own clubhouse high up in the trees. Now the park's so quiet it gives me a chill. See no children outside and the swings hanging still. There's no skipping, no hopscotch, no church and no steeple. We're a generation of idiots, smartphones and dumb people.
Our generation is known as iGeneration, a generation created around technology, brought up with technology, and evolved through technology. The media stresses all the benefits of technology, yet what are we missing out on when we are all staring at bright screens? Yet the real question is, what is technology physically doing to our brains? The brain is one of the single most important organs in our entire body. It controls all other organ systems while still processing thought, creating emotion, and storing memories. Technology, however, can be both positive and negative. The point of this talk is not to bash technology, but to actually figure out the real effect that technology is having on our brains. In fact, technology has actually allowed for education levels to increase, social communication skills to increase, and literacy to be at an all-time high. It might seem as if there's no end to the possibility that future technology may be able to have. Unfortunately, technology is causing future brain damage, ADHD, aggressive behavior, and damage to emotional health. Every part of the brain has a different function, from regulating thirst and hunger to storing and retrieving memories. Our brains are vital to our survival, and unfortunately they're the one thing we rely on for entertainment and social networking. Now, the brain is separated into two separate hemispheres, the left and the right hemisphere. The two hemispheres are enabled during different types of activities. Whether we're on the computers or our phones, the left hemisphere is engaged and the right hemisphere remains stagnant. If the hemisphere remains stagnant for an excessively long period of time, muscle atrophy begins to occur. Atrophy is a fancy way of saying what we don't use, we lose. Deterioration and atrophy occur when parts of the brain are stagnant or not used for too long. Everyone knows how kids are always bouncing off the walls, not able to pay attention to anything, wanting to be on their video games, a little bit of everything from watching TV to being on the computer to wanting to play with your iPhone. Kids always want to be engaged with technology. Now, scientists have figured out that technology and ADHD have a direct relationship. As technology increases, more cases of ADHD emerge. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Studies have shown that children between the ages of 8 and 18 spend at least 8 hours a day on social media, which is 20% more time than children's 5 years ago. Timely comparison, we are in school for a little less than 8 hours, and we are on social media for 8 hours. Think about all the time we've been wasting while being on our technological devices. 2 hours or less of being on a computer or on your phone or watching TV can actually be beneficial to the brain because it keeps it engaged and actually responding to stimuli. 2 hours or more can cause damage. There are several causes of ADHD, but constant hours of being actively engaged in technology like their computers or video games isn't helping prevent ADHD. ADHD causes attention deficit in school, inability to concentrate, and just overall difficulty. Researchers did a study of 17 teenagers who all had internet addiction disorder. Within all the teenagers, researchers found structural and functional problems within the organization section of the brain, which is commonly known as the thalamus. The cognitive impairment was similar to that of an alcoholic. Now look up from your bright screens and overly check social media. Not only are you missing out on the world around you, you could potentially be causing yourself brain damage.